Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to everybody. I'm so glad to be here. I actually was this is the fourth time I'm a guest of Bosnia Agile events. And it would be even better that we are in Sarajevo, that we can get some coffee, maybe cevapcici, but that would be awesome. Spend some time together with you. But there is also one benefit of this kind of remote webinar that is obvious. I should not be able on stage, so I don't know who is here, who is not here. Curious how many people are there. 17 at the moment. Okay, it's hopefully someone else will join and talk with us. What I want to ask you, we will talk about the waste. And one of the things that I know about waste, some things, but I'm curious, when you think about waste at your work, what is that comes to your mind? Would you be so kind to open menti.com and enter the code, or scan the QR code and give us some insights? What do you think? What are some ways you obviously are able to feel here, or it's happening for you? Let's wait for people to express their opinion. The time, the waste about the time. Something is slow. Yeah, we will talk about the slow and the timing definitely today. So glad to see those. What else is, what activities maybe? The resources. Let's wait for a minute or two, and then we can continue debugging as a process of what we are doing. And definitely people are always involved in production of waste. So definitely for myself, I produce waste, and probably most of us, and it's just the nature of work. And let's explore that. Let me just quickly run the run the slideshow again. We will get back to this Menti. You can still add some things inside. I will put it on the results in a slideshow later. Thanks for that. So the waste. I heard the story so many times, and I read the books about the waste, about the lean, and I thought I understand it very well. I thought I wanted the waste. Yeah, the waste is clear for me. And I especially welcome the people who care about the waste, like or the people who are producing something, developing something. The people in management definitely, and the people and on the top level also, like CEOs of the companies. They also should take care of the waste. And one of the quotes I like. That eliminating waste must be a business first objective. And obviously, this is the quote from the Taiciono. If somebody will kind of knew this already, that's good. And we know some concept of waste started long time ago in the production. And as I said, I thought I know everything, or some, or a lot. But a few months ago, I was so surprised that participating in a very short practical exercise that was leading one of the people from the Toyota Europe, manager Yves Cullen, and he was able to people for the group create so nice experience for us to understand the basics of waste. And at that moment I felt like, wow, again, this aha moments, like you feel like, oh, you thought you know something, but this is the level up for myself. And this is what I want to bring you today for the session. And welcome to this. We will imagine, I'm inviting you that for the moment we think about we are production line, production factory, production group, a few of us, and we have a product. And for the sake of the exercise, or for the sake of the just to understand it and to be able to see it very clearly, this product is very simple. This is just a A4 sheet of paper. We need to fold it in half, and in the process to give extra value to the product, we will put the paper clips on the edges. And we will not build a software, it's not a car, it's nothing complex. It's very simple, but just I invite you that let's go and look at the process itself. Yesterday I had some fun times recording those steps and processes, and we will look some of those and we will analyze it in the details. So this is very simple product we do. Somebody need this, we don't judge that. It's on the market, we need this, and people will use it. But let's examine how the product is kind of coming to the life. And once again, thanks to Yves Cullen for showing this exercise to me, and I'm bringing to you. So let's start. Believe me or not, this is it. So this is the process. It's very simple. You take a piece of paper, you fold it, you take the paper clips, you put it on, and you pile the products on the pile. And this was a take one of the product. And some questions for you in a group, and you can write the answers in chat. What do you notice about this process? What can be improved? And how we will know it's getting better? What do you think? Feel free just to write anything in chat or think about it. So while I wait for some answers, I get some last week, and when I did the workshop, some of the participants said, "Yeah, it's manual, it's very slow, and it could be automated." This is obviously true. There is something about this. Some parts take longer, and we should work on them. So yeah, maybe I'm getting very long to how to install the clips, and this is also true. And the question, how we'll know it's getting better, the first that came to my mind was, yeah, we can measure the lead time and see how it goes while changing something. There are some answers in the chat. Let me read it. Mirza, thank you. I noticed that in the end, it is still a piece of paper with less usable surface area. Oh, that's true. He went to the other side of the table to get the paper clip, so he could, yeah, you could done this faster, definitely. It seems like too easy. Maybe we can make it faster by folding multiple pieces of paper at once. Okay, thank you people for writing the comments, and I will refer to them definitely. through this exercise and maybe get back to them one by one. And I like them all. So some parts take longer, and we can measure lead time and what you mentioned, the last comment about folding them together, probably yes. Curious about how quality will be if we just take a few sheets and then fold it together. I don't know. And other principle that I can fold the 3 or 4 in a row and then do the other process. For that, I have maybe a fact for you that we kind of aim for the single piece flow, and you can explore the coin game and maybe Google it later and see how it goes, maybe to give you some answers on that. Should we take a multiple or just work on one? And those are the answers I get usually. And interestingly, but probably this is not what they will do in Toyota. And I was curious, okay, and then what they will do in Toyota. And let's see. So basically in Toyota, they will look at the steps and the process itself and the details. They will identify every steps in the process. How many steps are there? What are the steps? And let's do it together in the next round of video, very short. And let's examine what are the steps and how many they are. Oops. And that's it. So there are, I didn't count when I observed it first time, but there are 11 steps. It's a pickup, movement, drop, folding, picking up, move again, drop, install, picking up, move, and drop to pile it on a pile. And the process at the first was, when we observed the first recording, I was thinking, oh, it's very simple. But now when we put the steps like in sequence and we see the steps, it's in this simple process, there are so many steps, and even some of those steps I didn't put inside because I rotate the paper to start putting the clips on where the fold is. It's much easier than to, and so I do some extra steps maybe. So it's the process is kind of simple, but there are lots of steps and actions you need to take care of. So we actually went down and look at the details. We applied some basic go and see principles and what's going on exactly. And this is really important, but probably this is not what they will do in Toyota. And what they will do in Toyota is they will examine the steps, but they will also perform the measurement for every activity. And for us, in this case, we are talking today, the good measurement is time. So we will measure the time. So let's look at the process and the timing together and how does this works. You trust me that I measured the time rightly. It was even easier to measure the time because when I was editing the video, I put the clips and see like the sequence of pictures and decided in this moment I'm taking up, I'm pulling down the paper, touch the table, and so many. But it's not so important that it's some differences in seconds. So let's assume that the timing is good. And if the timing is good, it will look something like this. For picking up, we need 2.8 seconds. For moving, 1.8, 1.3, 7.7 seconds to fold, and 1.2 seconds to pick up, 2.2 for moving, 1.3 to drop it again, 17.2 to install, and 0.9 to pick up, 3.7 to move, and 0.8 to drop. So it's like 41 seconds in total for all the sequence we need to perform. And obviously, what do you notice now? You can also write in chat some answers. What can be improved? What do you notice? And how we will know it's getting better? Yeah. Amar said, installing takes the longest time, definitely. Repetitive steps, definitely. So thank you for your answers. And before that, Nihad said that it could be all done in one place. We'll get to that also. Definitely, thanks. And some answers definitely from the groups I heard. Yeah, it's the steps of installing taking 17 seconds, and you can do some improvement there. Definitely, you go there and jump there and do it, fix that. And you know what? But probably this is not what they will do in Toyota. So maybe I'm already getting annoyed with this sentence, but this is something that really strikes me at that moment. I realize that. But and then the question is, so this is how it goes, and what they will do in Toyota. But they will do this. They will think about there are 11 activities, and they will think about specifically for every activity, which one is the value-added activity, and which one is not value-added activity, and which one is activity that is necessary, but we did it because something, but it's actually not added value activity. So let's examine this step by step. So value added in green, non-value added in red, obviously, and necessary activities in blue. Picking up. So the picking up, thinking about, let's think about this together. Picking up, is it value added? I don't think so. I don't do any I don't add any value in my product by picking it up, but it's necessary. I want to pick it up to be able to work with it. So this is blue. So moving itself is as somebody also mentioned in the comments, maybe we should not move, and this is non-value added activity, definitely something we should explore, not necessary even. And the dropping itself, since I pick it up, it's dropping itself is necessary. And the folding is first value added activity where we are adding some value inside by folding because we need the folded paper. And the picking up, then again, it's necessary because we need to move it like non-valid value, and we need to drop it on a table because it's necessary that it's on the table that we can install the paper clips, because to add some value while installing. And then again, we install, we do the pickup, which is necessary because we need to move it to the other place where we pile it on a pile, and it's also necessary. So we can now see we have three types of activities: the value added, non-value added, and necessary. And sometimes this is good exercise, like value stream mapping for yourself, for your company, to see how the process is going and what are you actually doing. And this is something they will do first in Toyota. They will not do the automation. They will not the think about the process itself and pick the 70 seconds and then automate it or whatever do with this. They will just categorize activities and see what's there. And then we if we think about those activities and this process, what they do in Toyota usually is they create one kind of graph, is Yamazumi graph. The graph is very simple. It's just piling value-added activity necessary one in non-value-added, and this is how it goes. If we map all the timings, this is something for value-added activity. We have like 25 seconds, something less, something around 7-8 for necessary, and something around 7-8 for non-value-added activity. So we can put it in graph and see it in chart, and this chart is like good chart. But what now? So and somebody mentioned in comments, thank you for that, the lots of movement, and we identified the movement as non-value added activity, so we can remove it. And let's remove the movement then. So we will remove all the movements. Those timings will probably get out, and definitely those steps will not be here even more. And we recognize that we can rearrange the space, so in that way the worker can perform the work without excessive movement. So this is the goal for us at this stage. And let's see how this goes with reducing the movement. So we have pickup, we have fold, we have installing. And drop, obviously. And definitely there are some steps. We remove the movement, but while removing the movement in orange, we also removed some steps that are even not here. So we did a pickup because we need to fold it. We didn't move, we didn't drop, we fold it. We didn't pick up, we didn't move, we didn't drop because we didn't pick up. We install it, it was already in our hands. The time difference is not so huge and not so relevant here. We didn't pick up, we didn't move, it was already in our hand, we just drop it. And we have some time of 24.6 seconds. And if we draw the Yamazumi graph chart again, we can see that this is obviously, we removed all the red ones, like non-value added activity. We spare a few seconds because I was just do the processes faster, the installment and folding itself. It was a bit faster, so we gain, I don't know, 2 to 3 seconds here. But what's kind of interesting for me when I saw it first time, that by removing the non-value added activity, some of the necessary activities was removed also. So we gain even more in removing removing necessary activities, and this is something very, very clear for us. And I was looking like this, like, wow. So not just removing the waste like itself, we by doing this, we were able to gain even more time by just surroundings is also kind of better now. And some other steps could be left out because we removed the non-value added steps, and some steps also get out of this. So this is at the moment what we notice. And anything else, what did you notice here? You can write down in chat as usual. but we should think also about what about the software product. This is very easy manual activity, and yeah, very simple activity, nothing complex, very everybody can do it. What about the software product? What's there? What can we do there? How it goes there? And how can we relate those findings we have here to the products we work every day for us? So this is something I also want to talk with you about. So let's see. In the software product, we have what's the similar? Yeah, we need to pick up something. Yeah, we need to pick up some work and start to work on it. We need to read some specification documentation, maybe even not read. We need to discuss on them. It would be even better. We need to develop some features. We need to talk about them, and we need to actually work on it, create some code. We need to validate this. We need to validate, is this code working what we thought it should work? We need to maybe ask somebody, is this what you needed? Are we going in the right direction? Then if maybe at some point in time before or after, we will probably merge this with all the other code we have in the product. If this is some kind of large product, you know how this usually goes. The merging, I don't know, day before yesterday, the colleague of mine said, we had a daily meeting, and in the morning, and for the last day, he said, yesterday I had the merge hell. And this is not the first time I heard it. So the merge hell, it's just all over the place. And after the merge hell, you maybe have not the merge hell, you merge heaven. You probably will deploy it somewhere, maybe test it. The testing could be done before, and maybe you have a different kind of test for every now and then. And now before the production, you want to test it once more, and you will probably release it at some time, give it out to the world to try it out. And then I would say it would be beneficial that you do it more often and more frequently and more early. But those are some sequences, and you need to do all of this in one moment at a time for some kind of product. Let's also think about this in that way. And what's the waste here? What's the non-value added activity here? And the Yves, while we're discussing it, he presented the concept that every movement back is kind of wasteful. So you merged it and you find something out, and you need to develop again. And this movement back is essentially very wasteful for us. And so you test it and you find out, okay, that doesn't work. It doesn't pass the test you wanted that it passed, and you need to go back and then develop, and then go move forward, and then do the validation, merge, deploy, and then again test it. And sometimes it takes many unfortunately, sometimes it takes many tryouts. And the worst case scenario is you release it and it doesn't give us the value we expected, and we essentially misunderstood each other. So you need to go back on the reading or discussing or the creating of the requirements, because whatever you produced, it doesn't give us the value we expected. So this is very wasteful. And when I saw this exercise, thought about this, like, okay, then we need to take care. We can maybe, we all know this, but we still lack some arguments when the people are saying, yeah, but why do we need some kind of automation? Why do we need to test often and earlier in the process? And why do we need all this? And this story I saw like a very nice example and the opportunity to connect all those dots for myself. And now I realize that we do so many wasteful activities every day in my teams, and eventually we discuss, okay, what now? So we use some kind of tooling, and obviously, if you use some kind of board, whatever board it is, you use Scrum, Kanban, whatever, you obviously see that work is traveling through some kind of statuses, and you will be able to see that this work changed status in some kind of log history of the work, whatever tool you are using, and you will be able maybe the count, the number of issues that were traveling from right to left and not from left to right. What would be the obvious choice for all of us? So those the number of things in one iteration, how many things, how many steps they were jumped over. So this could be interesting metrics for us, and those metrics can help us to understand, are we improving at all? Are we as a team, are we as an organization, is our product getting better? Do we have more of those jump back situation, or are we kind of preventing them and working towards that we are removing them at all? Some notes for you, and for myself also. The process started with the zooming in and zooming out. So we kind of, okay, we explore, we zoom out and we see what's going on, but eventually we zoom in and see every activity, the measure every activity, what's going on there, is it necessary? This is not just zooming in and seeing the details. We need to do both. The essential was the categorize activities, thinking about are they value adding, are they non-value adding, are they just necessary and we perform them because we need to, because of, I don't know, we need some compliance, security, whatever you need to do, but this is not value adding, this is just being compliant or whatever. But non-value adding activity like excess documentation that nobody reads, and the code that is written in a way that nobody can take over, and that kind of stuff. This is basic things we see, I guess, most of us every day. And what the process was, actually we see some opportunities to improve at the first look, but we postponed them. And what we done is we actually removed the waste first. We go there and remove the waste first, and then try to improve, to automate, to do some other stuff, because removing the waste first will give you so much value. The extra activities around the waste will also kind of remove the waste itself and give you extra value, definitely. And what about the notes? What actually is really important to understand, that the efficiency must be improved at each step, and at the same time for the plant as a whole. Obviously, the one of the quotes from Taiichi Ono, and the plant, we can replace the plant with organization, with the team, or the product, or whatever you are seeking to improve, but just you can do it. You can write in chat what are some of your takeaways from this small exercise, and maybe even how can you use it in your work. You can also write down in chat if you would like. I would be very thankful for that. How was it for you? Did you get that? What I get when I was looking at this first time, or what's your opinion? Any use, anything that can you do with it? Okay, let's wait for a minute or two for you to wrote. Amar, thank you, Amar. We can be a lot more efficient if we eliminate wasteful stuff. Definitely. Just thinking about that. I'm looking forward for some stories about that for all of you guys. And this is also what I notice, and just being aware. Niha, the efficiency is just as important as a quality, definitely. Yeah, it's connected. Yeah, definitely. An excellent example, simple and effective. Thank you, Bojan. So the original statement about the somehow comes to my mind, waste, the final frontier. But the original statement, this was like this.
Space, the final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of the starship Enterprise. Their ongoing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.